Welcome back, everybody. This is Tyler Weeb from Pro Physique, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to find your starting macros. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you're all having a great day here so far. Before we go ahead and get started, just make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you're not missing out on any future content. And if you would like to see any topics talked about in future videos, just go ahead and go over to my Instagram here, shoot me a DM, and I'd be more than happy to talk about any of those questions or topics in future videos. But let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. So with summer quickly approaching and people obviously wanting to get in shape for the beach, vacations, whatever you've got going on when the weather gets nice, it would be a very good idea to get started on that goal now. And first things first, you do need to make sure that you can find your starting macros. And this can be a little confusing for people. There's tons of calculators on the internet. You can plug in some numbers, your height, your weight, your age, level activity. It's going to spit some numbers out at you. Usually it's just calories. On the Pro Physique website, there is one on there, so you can go check it out. And it's a great, easy tool to use. So that is certainly one way to go about it if you're looking for something a little bit quicker, a little bit easier, and then you can make adjustments based upon certain measurements of you checking in on yourself, right? So you can do that. Or what I really like people to do is I actually like to get them to start tracking. Now, calculators are great. Like I said, they're quick, they're easy, and they're gonna spit you out a number that you can just get started on and make adjustments. Another way of going about it, and it is a little more in depth, but it's gonna be something that you're going to be doing anyways on this journey. So we might as well just get started right away and get our feet wet. And this is, let's just start tracking for a week. Right? Let's spend 7 days tracking our food intake. Now, this can be a little difficult and can be a little intimidating for someone who has never tracked before, but like I said, you're gonna be doing this anyways, so we might as well get started. Is it gonna be perfect? Nope, it's not gonna be perfect, but that's okay. We don't need perfection. We just need some starting numbers to get us going. So what I'll have someone do, and you can do this as well, is get a food scale. They can be $25, $30 off of Amazon, or you go to Walmart and easily pick one up. Food tracking app, either MyFitnessPal or my favorite is MyMacros+. There is a one-time fee on that. It's like $3, $4, super cheap, and I think it's one of the better ones out there. I've used quite a few of those food trackers out there, so I really, really like MyMacros+. Then this is probably the hardest one for people because they're like, I'm starting my diet or I'm starting this journey. I'm going to change everything I eat. Well, the issue with that is that it's going to really throw off the numbers and not really give us an accurate assessment of where you are currently with how much food you're eating, right? So, I mean, if you have, let's say, 2 Cokes a night, right? And all of a sudden we drop that and we don't log it in, well, that's going to throw off how many calories that you are going to be able to start with. And so we want, as close as we can, an accurate measurement of how much food you are eating, okay? So you take the week, keep your relatively same eating plan that you just normally eat, but the only difference that you're going to do is you're just going to weigh things out. Boom, put it into the food app, figure that all out, and then do that for day 1 to day 7. The more numbers we can get, the better idea of we're gonna get where your numbers are. Now, if you are an experienced tracker, but you just haven't been tracking for a while, feel free to do just 3-4 days, and that'll be more than enough to get an idea. This is really just mainly for someone who's never really tracked before, and is just kind of getting introduced to macros and calories and going along this route. So you have your 7 days of tracking, you've got it all laid out, right? So protein, carbs, fats, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom. So from there, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add up each column here. All right, so we're gonna get our total of the 7 days at the bottom. Then what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna divide by 7 to get the average. So you're gonna have your average protein, your average carbohydrates, and your average fats, okay? Now, here is where we probably will want to make some type of tweaking, because the majority of people who have never really tracked food or paid too much attention to what they are eating are typically gonna have quite low protein, okay, and higher carbs and fats. Those are gonna vary depending on the person and just kind of what their preferences are for, macros. Do they like fats more? Do they like carbs more? It's gonna be a bit different, but we can tweak those once we've set our protein, because this is gonna be the most important macronutrient. So you're gonna take your protein and you're gonna set that to at least 0.8 grams per pound. Okay, that is the minimum amount of protein that we're going to want to make sure that we're consuming to make sure that we are stimulating muscle protein synthesis, we are maintaining any muscle that we do have, and 3, if you are really a beginner, there's a good chance now, once you've increased your protein intake, you're going to start building some muscle, even if your initial goal is dieting. Okay, so set it at 0.8 grams per pound, boom, minimum, right? We're set. From there, we want to go to our fats. We want to make sure that those are roughly around 20 to 25% of total calories. Okay, so we want to make sure that we set that number. I'll tell you how to figure out total calories here in a little bit. And then the rest is going to go into carbohydrates. Okay, so now we have all of our numbers set. And just to kind of quick reverse, how do we figure out calories? Okay, so what we're going to do is protein times 4, carbs times 4, fats times 9. That's the average, and that's going to spit out your calories, just because there's 4 calories per gram of protein, carbs, and then 9 calories per gram of fat. Now we want to make sure that everything is balanced out, so that if we did have to add in some protein, we've taken that out of carbs and fats, and everything's nice and balanced with the initial calorie intake, just with the different macronutrient ratios. So those are going to be your starting numbers, okay? What I want you to do before you start to make any tweaks or changes or adjustments to things is I want you to start with consistency first. Okay, so take your numbers and start there. Spend 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on how diligent you are, how easy you figure it out, all of that. Everyone is going to be a little bit different. And hit those numbers consistently for 3, 4 weeks without making a single adjustment. Just start to hit those numbers, because that is going to really lay that foundation for you down the road with the consistency, because that is far, far more important than anything along this journey, especially if you want to drop body fat. If you cannot be consistent with your numbers, there's a really good chance that you are not going to see the results that you want. So establish that consistency first. Learn some foods that you really enjoy eating. Figure out a bit of a personal meal plan of, you know what, I can eat these meals quite often and I'm not going to get bored of them. I really enjoy them and they allow me to hit my macros. And then see what your weight does as well. Does it start dropping? Does it start going up, right? Does it maintain? And then, you are going to do some things depending on what occurs there. But the most important thing is to get started, get some numbers, get your proper macronutrient ratios, 0.8 grams for the protein, 20 to 25% total calories, fats, and then the rest of those calories go right into carbohydrates. All right, so that is how we find our starting numbers, and then that is how we start to establish that foundation of consistency, so that when we do start to make changes, you've already got that good habit down of consistently hitting your numbers, right? We want to make sure we establish those good habits before we diet, especially before we diet, because of that importance of consistency. Okay guys, that is gonna be everything for today. In a few other videos here this week, we'll talk about a little bit more about how do we change our macros, how do we drop some body fat through that manipulation. Might do a video on type of cardio, how much cardio do we need for that fat loss, but just wanted to get you guys started on some macros here first to be able to get that started and then start working on that consistency portion. Okay guys, that is going to be everything for today. If you have any questions, just please leave a comment in the comments section and have a great rest of your day.